Help me reach 6,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. I never thought I'd become the villain in my own marriage story. When I married Claire, she was the kind of woman who could turn a room into sunlight. Confident, sharp, the sort who didn't just enter a place once she arrived. I was drawn to that energy. I wanted a partner who could match my drive, challenge me, make life interesting. For the first few years, that's exactly what we were. A team. We built a house together in Seattle, took late-night trips, ate dinner at strange hours because we were both too busy chasing promotions. Life felt fast and balanced. Until one day it wasn't. It started subtly. The first time she refused to sleep in the same room with me, she said it was because of my snoring. I laughed it off, bought a nasal strip, tried sleeping on my side. But a week turned into a month, and suddenly she had her own room, her space. At first I told myself every couple needed privacy, but soon privacy turned into distance. Distance turned into silence. We stopped having breakfast together. She started eating at her vanity, scrolling her phone. She said she needed quiet mornings. Then came the new wardrobe, expensive handbags and spa treatments, girls' trips. I never questioned it. I was making good money as a project manager, and she'd always been meticulous with appearances. But I noticed something strange. She was happier away from me than beside me. One night I knocked on her door. She was sitting on her bed scrolling through Instagram. I asked if we could talk. She didn't even look up when she said, "I just don't feel comfortable sharing a room right now." I asked why. Her answer? "I just need space, emotionally, physically. You're exhausting." That word hit me harder than I care to admit. Exhausting. I wasn't angry. Not yet. Just confused. I asked what I'd done wrong. She said, "Nothing. You're just you." I left her room that night with a pit in my chest. It wasn't rejection I felt. It was replacement. Like she had already decided I was no longer the man she married, and I didn't even know why. Weeks passed. I kept trying, little notes, dinner plans, even therapy suggestions. She brushed off every attempt. Said she didn't need help. Said she just needed space. Meanwhile, the credit card bills grew. Designer labels I'd never heard of. Hair appointments that cost more than my car insurance. I didn't say a word. I just kept paying. But something changed in me when I overheard her on the phone with a friend. She laughed and said, "I'm basically living like a single woman, just with a better budget." That was the first night I slept in the guest room. Not because she asked me to, but because I couldn't stand being in a house that felt like a museum of our old life. I started noticing details. Her perfume was different, something new and floral. There were charges for restaurants I hadn't been to, in neighborhoods we never visited. When I asked, she said, "You're being paranoid. I go out with the girls." Still, every time she came home late, she smelled like someone else's cologne mixed with hers. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I just stopped reacting, and when I stopped reacting, she started noticing. The morning it all came to a head, she walked into the kitchen wearing a silk robe, sipping her matcha like a queen in exile. I was making coffee. She sat at the counter, phone in hand, barely looked at me and said, "The Amex declined last night. You should fix that." I didn't even turn around. I just said, "I canceled it." She blinked. "What?" "I canceled it," I repeated. Since we're living separate lives, it didn't make sense to keep funding both. Her tone sharpened. "You're punishing me?" I looked her dead in the eye. "I'm matching energy." She stood there for a second like I'd spoken another language. Then she laughed. The kind of laugh that dripped with disbelief. "You're unbelievable. You cut off my cards because I won't share a bed with you?" I didn't answer. I just took my mug and walked out. By that evening, I was officially the bad guy. She called her mother, who called mine. Suddenly I was controlling, petty, insecure. They all wanted to know why I'd humiliated her by freezing the accounts. None of them asked why she hadn't shared a room with me in 6 months. And as I sat alone that night, scrolling through old pictures, vacations, anniversaries, her smile next to mine, I realized something bitterly simple. You can love someone completely and still lose their respect one quiet night at a time. The next morning, Claire didn't come down for breakfast. I could hear drawers slamming upstairs, the kind of rhythm that said she wanted me to know she was angry. When she finally emerged, she had a suitcase in her hand. "I'm going to stay at Melissa's for a while," she said, not even looking at me. All right. That was all I said. Her eyebrows tightened. She expected a fight, maybe a plea. But I'd learned something in the last few weeks. Silence can be louder than shouting. She paused by the door, waiting for me to react. When I didn't, she finally said, "You can't just cut me off like that. It's not fair." "Neither is pretending we're married when we're not," I replied. Her lips parted, but no words came. She turned and walked out. The front door closed with a hollow click that echoed through the whole house. That night I cooked dinner for one. No text from her, no call. The house was quiet. Not the cold silence we'd lived in for months, but a cleaner kind. A kind that didn't demand anything from me. A few days later, I got a message from her friend Melissa. "Hey, just checking. Are you and Claire okay? She said you've been acting controlling." I didn't reply, because that's what people do when they can't explain both sides. They fill in the blanks with their own narratives. And in her story, I was the villain who cut off her freedom. Funny thing is, freedom was all I'd ever given her. 2 weeks passed. No word from her. Then one evening she showed up unannounced. Different perfume, same entitlement. "I need to grab a few things," she said, walking past me like she still lived there. I nodded. "Take what you need." She went straight upstairs, and for a moment I thought that would be the end of it. But when she came back down, she lingered near the counter. "You know," she started, "you really hurt me by freezing the accounts." I raised an eyebrow. "You stopped sharing a room. You stopped being my wife. But somehow I'm the one who hurt you?" She rolled her eyes. "You're being dramatic, maybe," I said. "Or maybe I just finally started seeing things as they are." There was a pause. That strange kind of silence where both people know the relationship is already over, but pride won't let either one say it. She finally sighed. "You think money fixes everything? You think cutting me off proves something?" "It doesn't prove anything," I said. "It just stops funding the illusion." For the first time in months, she didn't have a comeback. Her eyes darted away. She mumbled something about not wanting to fight and left. That night, I deleted our shared bank accounts, her name from the insurance, and the last photos of us from my phone. Not out of spite. Out of peace. The next day, her sister called. "She's saying you blindsided her," she told me. "That she feels abandoned." I laughed softly. "She left months ago. She just finally took her luggage with her." It's strange how people can abandon you in stages. First emotionally, then physically, then publicly. And when you finally let go, you're accused of being heartless. A few weeks later, the papers came on a polite typed request for divorce. No message attached, no explanation. Just a quiet ending, delivered in a manila envelope. I signed them the same day. When I returned them through her lawyer, I added a short note. Just one line. "I hope you find the peace you kept chasing away." Months passed. Seasons changed. The house felt lighter, emptier, but honest. I started running again, cooking for myself. Even laughed once in a while. Every so often I'd catch her name pop up on social media. Photos with friends, designer dresses, trips, all smiles. People commented, "You look radiant." And maybe she was. Maybe the life she wanted just didn't include me anymore. That's okay, because what I learned was this, and sometimes love isn't stolen from you. It just quietly walks out when respect does. The real loss wasn't her presence. It was how long I kept trying to buy connection when what we needed was honesty. So no, I'm not the bad guy. I'm just the man who stopped paying for a fantasy. And in the end, that's not cruelty. That's closure.